Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
If you love the Selling from the Heart podcast, then you know how much we value authentic leadership and building relationships with heart. But here's the thing, great leadership doesn't stop with sales. It starts at the top with CEOs who inspire trust, create meaningful cultures, and lead with purpose.
That's why we're excited to invite you to get involved with the Culture from the Heart podcast. On Culture from the Heart, we celebrate CEOs who are transforming their companies by putting people first. And we're asking you to help us find them.
Do you work for an incredible leader? Know a CEO who builds culture from the heart? Nominate them to be interviewed on the show. Together, let's spotlight the leaders who make businesses thrive by leading authentically.
So head over to cultureFromTheHeart.com to submit your nomination today. Because when leadership starts with the heart, culture and success follow. Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Oh, hey, great seeing you. It's another great day here at Selling from the Heart podcast. We're in the thick of summer. It's heating up. But guess what? You got the last half of the year to do great things, and we're going to have a great time here today.
Yeah, and today's guest, Rick Denley, you're going to love this topic. We're going to talk about selling to Millennial and Gen X decision makers, something that needs to be on all of our radar right now. And speaking of Millennials and Gen X, we got all kinds of people in our Selling from the Heart community, and we love giving a shout out at the beginning of every show to one of our friends.
Hey, before we start, I just got to correct. It's Gen Z, just so we can clump that in there as well. It's all good, but we can't forget.
That's hilarious. Right? That is right.
See, Darrell, you're a Gen Xer. I'm the end of the baby boomers.
There we go.
It's all good, but we want to clump y'all in. We don't want anyone to feel left out here.
That's right. It's Millennials and Gen Z for our guest who is from Toronto. But hey, I got to say, look at that. We're Gen X. We're like, oh, we're the only decision makers. Well, guess what? That's not true. So yeah. So our shout out, Larry.
It's all good. Hey, everyone, my shout out was to Darrell Amy to correct it. Now that's all done. Jennifer Mendelius, I appreciate you. You're a great sales ops leader who waves the flag around Selling from the Heart. Continue to do great things as you work with your sales team. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yes, Jennifer, we're cheering you on. Well, today we're thrilled to welcome our friend Rick Denley. He is a repeat guest who brings energy, insight, and a blueprint for transformation. When you get to know Rick, you'll discover he is not only a powerhouse keynote speaker, a leadership coach, he's also the founder of Peak Performance Leadership Services. With over 30 years of experience in guiding teams through growth and change, Rick is on a mission to help organizations build courageous leaders, foster trust-based cultures, and deliver results that matter. He combines engineering precision with real-world leadership wisdom to inspire people to break through limitations and embrace possibility. And he is here with us today. Rick, welcome back to Selling from the Heart. It's great to have you here.
Gentlemen, great to be here. Thanks for having me back.
We're going to have a good time, Mr. Rick Denley. I know we are.
Absolutely. We've got some great things to share today with everything going on in the world today. There's always an opportunity to learn and grow.
There we go.
Absolutely. And as we kick this off, you know the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers, and I'm looking forward to your answer today on what does it mean to you, Rick, to sell from the heart?
Selling from the heart is such a great question. And I just want to share with you, because Darrell, you mentioned it, 2/3 of decision makers by the end of this year will be either millennials or Gen Z. And it's so important as a salesperson to make sure that we understand who we're selling to and what's important to them. And Selling from the Heart couldn't have a better timing than this, because the up and coming generations are so into the fact that they're not going to buy anything from somebody that they don't know, like, and trust. And how we build that trust factor is when we can do three things really well. And it's something I just got off the stage talking to a large group of leaders about as well. And salespeople need to embrace these three things. And it's something that we can consistently get better at. Remember, there's skills, tools, and knowledge. And this falls into all three categories, these three particular things: adaptability, empathy, and authenticity. And I know you've heard about them before, but I'm going to reemphasize the importance of getting good at these things so that we can continue to become the very best versions of ourselves, and in selling as well. That's what I'd like to talk about today.
Oh, this is so good. And we can wrap all this up that you just said so nicely in one word. It's heart. And I know we're going to unpack this. I've always shared this. I really, really believe this here at Selling from the Heart. When you get to the heart of what really matters and you get to the other person's heart, great things happen and conversations go deep really fast, really fast. I think that's what people are really looking for today.
Yeah, I agree. It's that deeper level of understanding. It's not just transactional anymore. It really does come down to people buying from people. Thank goodness. AI hasn't replaced that just yet. So it's still about people. And the better you can get to know the person, the better that you can show that you actually care in an authentic way, will help you connect with them to the point where they're willing to purchase from you, whatever product, service you might be offering. So absolutely right, Larry.
Well, this is such an interesting time. And we're living right in the middle of this generational shift where more decision makers we talk to every day, and I'm just even reflecting on decision makers I'm talking to are in the millennial generation and even Gen Z. And this is a massive shift because I think many people listening in have spent their entire career selling to the boomers and those of us in Gen X, and even had that slip at the beginning of the show because we're so dialed into this. So talk to us about this next generation and how they are viewing their role as decision makers in leadership roles today.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the leadership and the selling dovetail in nicely together with these generations. And we have to be sure, whether you're a leader or whether you're working with others, but you're building this culture of trust. Trust is vitally important. When you look at and you talk to these generations, and I did a lot of research prior to the engagement and speaking that I just spoke about with you. And when we ask them to prioritize what's most important to them, trust is at the very top. Whether it's trust from a leader, whether it's trust from somebody that's selling to them, trust is a huge factor now, and it needs to be there. And we have to know how to build trust in, like I say, a very authentic way. And there's no better way than to perhaps change the way that we've sold to the other generations, the boomers, the Xers, because they're not around as much anymore. Unfortunately, gentlemen, maybe good because we're retiring, but they're not around and we have to adapt. Listen, the only constant in the world today is change. We need to get better at changing. Everybody does on a regular basis because we don't know what's around the corner. So we have to be adaptable. So I want to talk about adaptability first, if I can. Dr. Shimmy Kang, psychiatrist out of Harvard Business School, wrote a great book. And it was all about successful people and happy people, because they tend to be the same. And what she talked about in that book is that it all boils down to one skill that we need to get good at: adaptability. If we can adapt to different situations on a regular basis, whatever change has come our way, whether we generate the change or it's something we didn't ask for, becoming adaptable to it helps us be successful and happy. If we can adapt to our customer base now, whether they be millennials, Gen Z, or some of us X are still around, we're going to be more successful as well. So adaptability to change is a skill set that I want everybody to get better at on a regular basis. Now, look, I know I ask all the time, how many people love change? And a few hands go up. And I said, no, you don't. Bunch of liars. Nobody likes change in the long run. We've got this terrible prefrontal cortex of our brain that's tens of thousands of years old that looks after change. It hasn't kept up with the change of technology, but we need to. So we got to get better at change, not just to accept and embrace change, but lead the change so that we're on top of what's going on. So that's the number one thing: adaptability.
Mhm.
Hey, I want to continue down this road around adaptability because it's so interesting. I'll just poke holes at salespeople and sales leaders for a moment. Is they like focusing on things that they really can't control, and
Hmm.
it seems like they zero in on all this. They talk about it, and they get consumed with it.
Yeah.
However, let's flip this and talk about how can I become adaptable to all the changes that are happening. So
Mhm.
just walk us through just really quick. What's adaptability look like through the lens of Rick Denley? Just unpack this as we progress through our time together.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by this because it's a great word.
Yeah, it is. And it's not easy. And we can get a little bit better at it, but it never becomes comfortable. Adaptability is always pushing us, it's always challenging us, no matter what we do. So we have to adapt to new customers. We have to adapt to new technologies. We might have to adapt to new sales processes. Everything is adaptability. So the way that you accept it and try things, I emphasize to people to try something that makes them uncomfortable at least a couple times a week, whatever it might be. It could be a new technology, right? It could be something very simple. And I use this little exercise all the time. You guys wearing a watch today?
Darrell is, I don't.
Nice. Wait a minute, Darrell. What is that?
Oh, I'm the nerd. I'm wearing the Apple Watch, of course.
No, let's be clear. Anything you can send and receive text on isn't a watch. It's a cry for help. Okay.
That was good.
All
I
right.
like
So
it.
true. All right. If you got a watch, take it off for me. And I do this
Okay.
with audiences. Take it
All
off,
right.
hold it up, put it on the other wrist.
Ah,
Oh
you're
yeah,
killing
let's
me.
do it. You're gonna fumble
Killing
around
me.
a little bit. You're
Oh
gonna
my
play with
gosh.
this thing, and then you're gonna don't drop it. Had a guy
Ow.
drop it. Had a guy
Pinch
drop a
myself.
Rolex one time. Hey,
Ha.
put it on the other wrist. Right away, we're training our brain to be adaptable, so we can
That's
actually
good.
exercise it. And we were kidding. And Larry, you look great. You've lost 17 kilos, I hear, which is terrific. And just like going to the
That
gym
was a
and working
good
out,
one, Rick.
just like going to the gym and working out, we can train our brain to get better,
Mhm.
stronger, and faster and adaptable. Okay. And that's what we do at the gym. You can do it this way. Do that watch exercise for 21 days and watch. By the end of 21 days, you're going to put that watch on the wrist very quickly because your brain adapted to it. What you also did was start rewiring the brain to change and adaptability. Then when the next challenge comes along, you're going to handle it better. So we can adapt through change.
This is, I'm not sure I really like this, Rick.
No, of course you don't. It's
Feels
uncomfortable.
very weird, but I think the point is really well made.
Yeah.
To put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, because we're going to need that. So what are some other skills that we're going to need as we think about influencing and selling to the up and coming decision makers in these generations?
As I mentioned, Darrell and Larry, it's a similar skill for leaders and salespeople, and it's called empathy. And let me assure you, these are not soft skills. When I talk about courageous leadership, these are the things that I talk about because it takes courage to be empathetic. And empathetic is really a core sales skill too. It's about understanding the challenges and problems that your clients are having. Okay, so empathy is very important. We need to be more empathetic to the clients that we're dealing with. They have challenges, they have problems, and I hope they do. That's why we're there to try and solve them. Now, you can't show empathy unless you really are good at two things. One, asking the right questions, and most importantly, using these things in ratio to this. You got to listen twice as much as you speak. And listening is a skill. Listening to understand, not to respond. Let me give you an example if I can. Okay. Here's what we often hear from clients. They'll say, I don't have time. What are they really saying? They're saying, I'm not sure I trust you. That's what they're saying. Give you another one. I need to think about it. Anybody ever heard that before in sales? I'm sure that you have. What they're really saying is that this doesn't feel safe. And I haven't built that trust that I need to between the client and myself. And it might even be, well, you know what? I've got to ask somebody else about this. And what they're really saying is, I better check with somebody else because if this thing fails, I don't want to be on the hook for it all myself. All of these things wrap up into us being empathetic to them. And then from there, moving on and understanding that we have to shift everything and ask better questions. Questions like, what's stopping you from doing this right now? And then listen. and try and dig that deeperness that Larry mentioned earlier, as deep as we can. And then ask those tough questions with them. If nothing changes, what will this cost you in 6 months? Change is very important so that we can grow. No growth occurs without change. So we have to change something. They're going to change something, and that can be difficult. And they'll say, and in the back of their minds, they're going, well, change, I don't know. Change is scary. Change hurts. Change doesn't hurt. Resistance to change hurts. How do we help them change with confidence, trust? So we have to be empathetic to their situation, really listen when we ask those questions, and build that trust factor with them. That will help us on our way to providing them the solutions that they're confident with and ready to purchase.
Hey, this is good. And there's a word I'm thinking of here as I'm listening to what you're saying, is intentionality. You really got to be intentional with this. And then I'm going to even throw something else in here, because let's just face it, people, I'm going to throw in just buyer. So I'm just going to say buyer. We'll just clump in all decision makers and all that. We'll just call them buyer for the sake of this. They're a whole lot smarter than salespeople or sales leaders think they are. And I'm going to insert a word in before the empathy word, is you can't fake empathy. If you try faking this stuff, they're going to pick it up in your tonality, your body movement, and all this. Why am I saying this? Because they're going to sense this, because you're going to be disconnected in how you deliver all of this. This has got to be sincere, intentional empathy. Because if you try to wing it and fake it, you're going to get called out on the carpet on this.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a great point, Larry. And it leads me to my third skill that we can be working on a regular basis and have to, whether you're a leader, a salesperson, and that is authenticity. We have to learn to be authentic. We have to remove the mask of the image that's with salespeople on a regular basis and be truly authentic. And there's a few ways to do that. We can become more transparent, which is important, which is opening up to them. I'm not talking at a deeply personal level, but on a regular business level, be very transparent with them in all of your transactions, whether it be pricing, inventory, shipments, all these things are important. Align your actions with your values. People like to purchase from people that they have the same values with. If you don't have the same values as an individual, you're not going to trust them and purchase from them. So make sure that you expose some of those values that help you become more authentic to them. That will build the trust that they're looking for. In fact, I want to share with you for a minute, because Larry, in one of your recent posts, you mentioned Brené Brown. And if people aren't following or reading Brené Brown, they really should, especially on this topic. And you talked about the fact that gratitude is also an emotion, but what else did you say about it? It has to be put in practice. And so do these three skill sets, including authenticity. And we have to be very consistent with being, authentic in everything that we do, because Larry, same thing as you just mentioned, they'll see right through you. If you're not being authentic with them, they're going to know. This generation, authenticity is very important. It's not just about price and delivery and things. It's about, who am I purchasing from? And do I trust that individual? In fact, I want to read you one more thing. This is Brené Brown's book.
Oh, that's a great book.
Love that book. Daring Greatly.
Daring Greatly. If you haven't read it, people, read it. Read it again. Read it a third time. How the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. Let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah.
We've got one other one for you. And I'll share, not going into a personal story, but I'll share with you that this book was actually given to me by my oldest son. And I have two boys. And it was during a challenging time in our relationship. My boys now are in their late 20s. Here's what he wrote inside. He said, "Dad, enjoy these reads. And remember that vulnerability and authenticity take just as much courage as confidence." Oh, right? It's great to be courageous and confident, but be vulnerable and authentic as well. And watch the trust level between you and your clients and your buyers and your team gel. That's what's important.
Love it. Love it. What a beautiful, beautiful statement, true statement from your son on all this. Because if you think about the adaptability, and you gave us a great exercise to think about putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations. There are a few things more uncomfortable than vulnerability. especially as a sales professional and all of that. So let's think about some things we can do along the line of empathy, and along the line of building that empathy, so that when we show up, we're not just kind of, okay, time to put on my empathy hat. Like, what can we do in our regular everyday life to build this muscle of empathy?
That's a good question. And I like the way that you phrase that there. It is about building the muscle. It is about practicing it, because it's not easy to bring that authenticity. And as Larry said, if you're not true to it, they'll see right through it. If it's an act, it's not going to work for them right now. So, especially the up and coming generations and millennials or Gen Zs right now, they thrive when they're seen and heard. So that's a big part of starting to build that authenticity. I'm really authentic because I'm really listening to you. I'm not just doing it so that I can move on to my next benefit or sales pitch or something like that. So we want to be sure that we're bringing our full selves to the meetings, to the workplace, whatever's happening. I'll admit, I made a mistake in leadership years ago when there were some challenges going on in my life with my family and such. And I let nobody know. And I was a leader of a large organization at the time, a multinational. And regardless of what was going on, I'd straighten my tie and show up at work every morning and be the leader that I thought people wanted me to be at the time, which was this courageous leader that my son talks about. Whereas what I really needed to do was be a little more vulnerable, share a little bit of myself out there, and watch that connection with others grow, because everybody's going through something. Everybody's either cleaning up a mess or on some sort of mission. And when you can be vulnerable and share a little bit of that, it changes the whole perspective. And that's very important to us. And, right now it's good for us to know too, the generations that we're working with. For instance, Gen Z, over 55% self-diagnose in the areas of differences, right? Neurodivergence. And you can look into that a little bit now so you understand who you're dealing with. And neurodivergence simply means they're different. Their strengths and their challenges are different maybe than in the past generations we've dealt with. But understanding what those are and being a little bit empathetic to it and working with it breaks down the barriers. And all of a sudden we have this authenticity, and we're not putting ourselves up on a pedestal. And I'll guarantee you that your relationship and trust factor will skyrocket when you do that.
Oh, this is good. So, okay. So you all got to bear with me. This is what my wacky brain's just thinking about right now. And I don't know where it's going to go. I trust it's going to go somewhere. And I'm just thinking of empathy. And I'm like going, it's hard. Just follow along with me on this one. It's hard to bring empathy to the forefront and be empathetic to others if we struggle to be empathetic with ourselves. And I'm sitting there listening to what you're saying, and all of a sudden, I don't know why, I had to share it with you all, in our conversation, is that's what was dancing through my head, is sometimes maybe we struggle with being empathetic towards others because we struggle with being empathetic towards ourselves, which means we got to get a chance to get to know ourselves even better than we think we do in order to connect to others. I don't know. I just wanted to get it out there. I don't know what y'all think of it. That's what was going through my brain as I was listening to you.
Yeah, it's a great point, and you're right. Let's remember that over a course of a day, we have 65,000 odd thoughts. We know that 80% of them are negative. I'll share a little story with you, Larry, that might help us for people to understand how we are better to ourselves, kinder to ourselves, more empathetic to ourselves. Last year, I ran a little triathlon here out in Niagara, and I'm bobbing around in the water for the gun to go off to start the race. And I look across and I see Dr. Jim Gills. And I didn't know that I'd ever run into him. He's a renowned doctor in many different areas of the mind, and also what we call a double Ironman triathlete. Now, that doesn't mean that you finished an Ironman twice, which first off would be phenomenal. It means that you did 2 Ironman distance triathlons in one weekend,
Oh,
which is absolutely incredible. I train all year round and then tune it up, and I go and do an Olympic style triathlon, which is okay. That's pretty cool. And I think that that's good. I'm bobbing around with this gentleman, and I said, I'm a big fan of yours. I said, help me understand how you can do that. And he's older than me now too. And he said, well, here's the trick. He said, we can get our bodies in as much shape as possible, and they can do much more than we think. He said, the trick is our mind. He said, we have to learn to talk to ourselves, not listen to ourselves.
Ooh,
that is good.
Because when we listen to ourselves, it's all negative. You can't do this. You're not good enough. What makes you think that you can go and do these type things? And so to your point, Larry, we're not being empathetic to ourselves to start with. Be empathetic to yourself. My God, you've been through a lot, people, a lot. And you're still here and you're doing well and you're going to do better too. So talk to yourself in a positive way and have a bit of empathy for yourself. It's been a tough road, but you're getting through it.
Oh,
powerful. I love that. I love it. Love it. Well, this is such a great topic. And as we round out, and we got a lot of sales leaders listening in that are obviously responsible for leading people on their team who are in up and coming generations and recruiting. I'm curious from your research as we end, what are Gen Z people looking for in a boss, in a company, in an opportunity? What are some high level themes you're seeing there?
It comes down to a culture. They're looking for a culture which has the elements that I mentioned in there, from leaders that are empathetic, adaptable as well, but a culture where they can learn and grow, a culture where they have a pathway laid out for them, that they see the steps to where they want to go, not just in the individual area that they're in right now, but where am I going to learn and grow going forward? And a pathway which is supportive by leaders that have put in place a culture which has all the elements that we want so that they can feel comfortable and be themselves, that they don't have to wear a mask to work. They don't have to fit into some sort of mold. You allow the up and coming generations to have a say, be seen and heard, and they're going to be fully engaged. Right now, the statistics tell us that only 40% of workforces are fully engaged. And I bet it's less for salespeople as well. How do we raise that engagement? Listen, allow them to be seen and heard and build that type of positive culture. And then leaders and organizations will attract and retain top talent.
Oh, this is so good. And I just got to key in on this C, and the C word used, SEE, is how many are really seeing the people versus just seeing them. Big difference. Really seeing them or seeing them. This is good stuff, Darrell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Well, what a great discussion. Always fun to talk with Rick Denley. And I know folks are thinking the big question, how do I get more Rick Denley in my life?
Happy to always connect with people that are looking to learn and grow. LinkedIn's a great way. It's just Rick Denley there. And if you're interested in finding out more about myself, and I've put a couple of the documents and papers and research that I've done up on my website at www.rickdenley.com. And, happy to go there, check it out. And you can download those and do some learning on your own. So I really appreciate it. Darrell, how are we doing on time? Gosh, shoot.
Oh, Rick, I'm glad you slid that one in at the very end. That was smart,
it's already back on the
back on. Well, that didn't last very long, people. I challenge your viewers to do better than Darrell, which was about 20 minutes.
That's right. Hey, thank you, Rick. This has been a
Rick.
blast, and we really appreciate you sharing your heart with us.
Oh, it's so great to be here with you guys. Thank you for all the great things, Larry and Darrell, that you're doing out there as well, to help people out, because I'll tell you, it's challenging out there for everybody.
It is.
It really is.
Love it. Love it.
So good. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. What a great always fun talking to Rick Denley. And here's my takeaway on this. And we've been here coming up on, oh my goodness, almost a decade, talking about authenticity and trust right here in this sales profession we all love. And it's always been important, but I have the sense that as generations kind of notch up and we have more and more decision makers in the younger generations, that these things that we've all been talking about and thinking about and working on together over the last decade, they just become more and more crucial to success. And I just want to say to all of our friends out there who are working on being adaptable, on being empathetic, on truly building trust with their prospects, and for our leaders with their team members, the work you're doing, you may not feel it every single day, but it is critical now and more than ever, and it's going to continue to grow in its importance.
Oh, so true on this. And I just have to layer in something here. And it's a word that's near and dear to me. It's practice.
Mhm.
People, listen, whether you're a sales leader or sales professional, you got to practice this. You can't just walk into the office, whether you walk into a building or virtual, doesn't really matter. Flip the light switch on and say, I think I'm going to bring this to the forefront today. If it works, great. If it doesn't, guess what? I'm just going to erase it out of my mind. No, this requires y'all to show up with intentionality. Practice this every single day.
Absolutely. So the things that Rick shared today are so spot on, and being vulnerable in the middle of all that is probably one of the most courageous things we can do, and that is what brings all of this together. So thanks for joining us today. Thank you to all of our friends who are out there sharing this message, liking the podcast, leaving reviews, sharing this with your friends and clients. We really appreciate you. And this is a movement of authenticity and trust right here in the sales profession we all love, and you are a part of it, and we definitely appreciate you. Larry, we got more to come throughout the rest of this summer. We're keeping it hot at Selling from the Heart, so you don't want to miss an episode.
Don't. New ideas, fresh voices, right? If you miss a week, it's okay. Just go back, go onto YouTube and watch what you missed. We appreciate you all.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you next week. Till then, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, develop adaptability, empathy, and authenticity, and most of all,
Sell from the heart.